Good morning, all. Okay, well, let's kick off officially. Welcome to the Hammersmith and Fulham Enterprise Club webinar about the additional restriction grant and how to apply for it. My name is Najana McLean. I'm running the Enterprise Club sessions for the Hammersmith and Fulham Council, and I've been doing it for the last 7 years. I can see some familiar faces joining us this morning, and a lot of different new people who I know are business owners here in Fulham. So welcome, Hammersmith and Fulham, welcome, and I hope we will see you and some of the other sessions that we run. I will start sharing my screen. Just want to share a few things with you. So you can see what else we do in Hammersmith and Fulham Borough. Okay, well, let me go back to the main screen. Here it is. It's very brief, so we won't keep you long, as I know you're all busy and have other things to do to run your businesses. So the monthly Enterprise Club sessions, we run them monthly, and of course now for this year they're all gone. We've went through them. The next session for the Enterprise Club is on the 13th of January, which is all about Brexit checklist. So I hope you can share with us, you can join us for that session. You can register for those sessions via the Eventbrite website. So this PowerPoint will be shared with you afterwards. So this one and the one that Michael will share later. So you don't need to take any notes. Dates can be found on the Hammersmith and Fulham Council website under the Enterprise Club. I hope you also know that we have business coaches or have business support experts who can help you if you have any other questions or you have a one-to-one sort of questions that you cannot find answers. Again, those sessions you can book through the website or by emailing business support. I will share the email at the end of this little presentation. Right, let me try to move this. It's a bit slow. My internet, apologies for that. It doesn't want to move the PowerPoint. I'll try again. No, it froze. Michael, can you sort of give me a bit of feedback? What can you see on the screen?
No, it's still on the Enterprise Club.
Still on the Enterprise Club.
Well, if it's a business advice session, so we have Paul Kelly, Mark Elliott.
Here it is.
There you go.
Go ahead. Well, yes, just to continue what Michael was saying, we have Paul Kelly and Mark Elliott still sessions that you can book to. There is one with Paul tomorrow, 21st of December, and the next one is on the 4th of January, and then with Mark Elliott, there are sessions in early January and sort of late January, again, that you can book if you have any additional different questions with regard to your business, nothing to do with the grant. Okay, let's try and see if it's, there it is, it's working now. So,
so just before you go to that, we also have Raj Tandon, who is a London Business Hub advisor, who also does sessions for us, and Francine Mullin, who does the social media and digital marketing as well.
Right, yes, they're not on the list as they were. There is no sessions for them at the moment. But if you have any questions with regards the social media or actually the anything to do with the internet webinars, social media, we have Francine. Let's not make this any longer. Let's concentrate on what you wanted to hear today. It's about the additional restriction grant, about the application, how to apply. Businesses that can apply will be relating to the businesses who had to close between the 5th of November and the 2nd of December 2020. Michael Farquharson is the Economic Development Officer for the enterprise from the Economic Department, Hammersmith and Fulham Council, who will talk you through the application and where and how to do it. I just want to say one more thing, that there will be a Q&A after the presentation, and if any questions will not be answered today, you will be able to reach out to Michael and your questions will be answered as soon as possible. Please do not be mindful of everyone who is on this webinar. Don't use any offensive language or behavior, as if that happens, we will have to remove you from this webinar. So thank you very much. Enjoy the webinar. Michael, it is your script.
Okay. Let me just start my presentation here. Good morning, all. First thing I need to say is, if you do have any questions, could you please put them in the chat, and then we can address them as go along. But I'll give you a Q&A at the end. We have a lot to go through. So yes. So let me not waste any time. And this is not working. Here we go. Sanjana, can you see anything?
Yes, I did. Now you switched it off. Can you put it back?
Okay.
Oh, we can see it. It's fine. It's just I think it's a bit slow. So that's technology, I'm afraid.
Okay. So it's not working for me for some reason from this side. Okay, brilliant. Right. So yes, it is slow. Okay, so can you see now?
Yes, we can, Michael. Yes, it's your.
Okay, brilliant. So what we're going to go through, we've done the introductions. So we're going to go for the grant. We're going to go for the eligibility and exclusions, payments and discretion, application walkthrough, including documentation. Doesn't sound like a lot, but believe me, it really is. So let me just move straight on to the next one. Yeah, I think I've gone for one ahead. Okay, about the grant. I'm sure this is jumping too fast. Yep. This grant, well, intends to help businesses to pay their fixed costs during the national lockdown, which is from the 5th of November to the 2nd of December, 2020 this year. It's businesses who are required legally to close and businesses who weren't legally required to close but significantly affected by the lockdown. So we have a figure of 50%. You should have a loss of income of 50%, but we're going to go into that a lot more. Very important, the government stipulated that funds cannot be used to pay wages. So whatever you do not put that in your application form or you will be disqualified immediately. So funds cannot be used to pay wages. It is a discretionary grant, and the amount will depend on demand. At the moment, we have just over 3 million, but depending on the amount of people who apply, we may have to consider how much we pay out, because we need to really, well, share the love and help as many businesses as possible. Applications that do not comply with the criteria will only be considered in exceptional cases, and I mean very exceptional cases, and complete submissions Sorry, guys. Could you please mute your microphones? Completed applications must be submitted by 12 on Thursday, 7th of January, 2021. At that point, the applications will close and there is no way we'll be able to own it back because it's an absolute closed portal for data security. Okay, so you must be the owner of the grant, of the owner of the business the grant is for. And with that, you need to complete that as much yourself. We won't be taking any emails from any representatives. The last discretionary grant, there was a lot of problems with that. So please make sure you do this, or you get someone to help you, and you're there looking while you're doing it. Otherwise, we won't be able to help. The business must be traded on the first day of the national lockdown, which is 5th November. The business must not be insolvent or in administration, or a striking off notice must not have been made. Annual turnover must not exceed 10.2 million, and the balance sheet total not more than 5.1 million. Your business has not received more than 800,000 euros in state aid over the last 3 years in a rolling period. If you do receive state aid, please check the website and make sure you don't exceed that amount. And the business must not have an undertaking difficulty from the 31st of December onwards. And of course, if you're a market trader, you must be full-time. That should be so full-time and licensed and to trade at least 5 days per week. So I'll have to rectify that one. Okay. Okay. So I've gone through most of this already. Okay, businesses must be able to demonstrate a loss of income of at least 50% in November due to the lockdown. And remember, this grant is all about this lockdown. We will not go back and answer any questions on the previous discretionary grant because I know a lot of questions have come through about that. So that money has been spent, so we'll just concentrate on this one. Okay. Market traders must trade at least 5 days per week and licensed to trade, obviously full-time. The businesses who have applied for the coronavirus scheme, they're all eligible. Businesses who have received funding from the previous discretionary grant, they should be eligible as well, but probably unless they actually get the local restrictions grant. Home-based businesses that are in company's house register with a turnover at least 25,000 per year. This is totally new. The government did emphasize that this time we should try and help home-based business, so we've put that into the equation. Businesses who are not legally required to close during lockdown but severely impacted by restrictions. And businesses that are required to close during lockdown that are not registered for business rates, so anybody in shared workspaces, etc., can apply. Okay, big change in this one: self-employed people who are not eligible for the self-employment scheme with a turnover at least £25,000 per year. Reason being is that those who are receiving the SEISS grant are already getting help, so we're trying to help those who haven't got anything. So for whatever reason you didn't apply and you're self-employed, then yes, you can apply for this grant. Okay, we have some priority businesses. So businesses that are in the supply chain for retail, hospitality, arts, nighttime economy, leisure, and event sectors who may not be required to close or required to close, depending on the case, but are significantly impacted through cancelled orders for products or sales or services, following restrictions that came to force on 5th November, they are a priority. Businesses who have been significantly affected by business closures caused by national restrictions, who are impacted due to cancelled order for products and services, businesses outside the business rate system that were effectively forced to close, so like market traders or, well, I don't think the gyms were closed this time, but some people who do like barbers, that sort of thing. Okay, businesses in high growth sectors, science, technology, and creative industries, part of those who were not eligible for the previous discretionary grant. Okay, there is a discretionary top-up for viable business who have received the previous discretionary grant scheme and home-based business who have significantly fixed cost. So if your costs are not high, then of course we have nothing to top up. Okay, the excluded business. You cannot get funding if you have received a local restriction support grant. But of course, if you aren't in the priority groups, then yes, you can apply. So that's where the difference is. That sounds a bit confusing, so let me just go over that again. If you have got the local restrictions grant and you're a high growth business or you're a supply chain business, then yes, you can apply. Okay. If your business in administration, insolvent, or have been struck off the Companies House register, you cannot apply. If you're a sole trader and you're eligible for the self-employment income support scheme, you can't apply unless you are a market trader. If you have exceeded the state aid threshold, or you have an undertaking difficulty on the 31st of December, or a home-based Airbnb business, then you cannot apply for this scheme. Okay, I'm not sure. Snejan, is there any questions coming through on the chat?
Yes, we have a couple of questions. Do you want them now, or do you?
Yeah, go for it.
Go through. Okay, there is a question from Slavka, who was asking about the nurseries.
Yes.
They are eligible to apply.
Yes, I don't think Slavka gets business rates, so yeah, it should be fine. Or she hasn't got any for any reason. Yeah, I mean, if you're in any doubt, just apply anyway. It's not a first come first serve. We assess every single application form, so you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Exactly. Yes, okay. I would. Yes, I would. If you haven't applied so far, you felt or you didn't think that any eligible criterias that you were eligible for it, then we would urge you to apply for it. There is one more, Michael, there's one more question from Anna Wozniak. She says she's from a local Catholic church. Can they apply?
No, I think though they would have to go for the local restrictions grant, because although they don't pay business rates, they're exempt. So I think they'd have to go for those. Okay. If they can't accept get it from that source, then they can come back to us. Okay. But if in doubt, apply for both, and then we'll liaise with business rates. Or just tell us that you've applied for the other one, but you're not sure. We'll check with business rates and see what they're saying, and then if business rates don't pay you, then we'll have a look at it. So once again, no harm in trying, but just let us know.
Okay, right. There is another question. A sports club who hires council park, Okay, the sports club. So really, they are using outside areas. So the sports areas, local.
No, this is about more of your office costs. Sort of thing, so your rent, the sort of thing. First of all, if you're a sports club, your trading address would have to be in the borough. So that's the main thing. So that's where your office setup is, not necessarily where your service is. Yeah. So it's where your business trading from. I think so. It's a tricky one.
I would presume that this person could apply as a self-employed, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. It does sound like it's a limited company, so it might depend. But then again, you got you may have been affected, but how high are your costs? So that's the question. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we can't give you a grant for, well, as you can see, the next one it is about the amount you receive. We can't give you a grant for £1,000 if you're, if your, what would you say, your outgoings is less than that. I mean, it wouldn't be fair. So you'd be making a profit from the grant, and that wouldn't be fair to everybody else. So it depends. if in doubt, pop us an email at business-support, and then I can talk you through, or just apply anyway and see what happens. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want more questions? There is few more questions.
No, I better move on because there's a lot to go
and then we'll
through.
go back. Okay, don't worry, guys.
Yeah, a lot to go through. All right, guys.
So we'll continue with the presentation, then we'll go back to the questions. Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk money. Okay, the grants are now paid per 28-day qualifying period, and it depends on your rate per value. If you pay business rates or eligible for business rates, or if you don't pay business rates, it's based off your rent, annual rent. So if the rate per value or rent is 15,000 or less, you will receive £1,334, and that's per 28-day period. If your rate per value or rent is 15 to 51,000, you receive £2,000. And this is actually in line with the local restrictions support grant as well. If your rate per value or rent is 51,000 or more, you will, it's above, you receive £3,000 per 28-day qualifying period. Of course, a viable business in the high growth or supply chain sector who suffered exceptional hardship and has not benefited from any other government grant and can demonstrate a high loss of income, the government, the council may take a discretionary reward, possibly up to 10K. But of course, we have literally a group of officers who go through the case and make that award. So it's not going to be a one-person decision. Okay, so if I stop sharing the screen, what I'm going to do is go onto a test form. Okay, that should be gone. And I'll try and share my screen for this one now.
So basically, we are, the form is on the Hammersmith and Fulham Council website, where you would go to apply. So you directly apply to at the website, Hammersmith and Fulham Council.
Okay, this is a test site, so there'll be very slight differences, but the whole point of this is just to get you to go through the form. I don't want to use the live form because, of course, it'll end up submitting an application which would just really mess up our data. So this is just about a duplicate of the other form. You must say yes to that to move on. Okay, so this time we have gone to a bit of detail because the government has asked for a lot of data. So they've asked a lot of feedback. And this time, and they've been very tight about throwing about money. So if we pay out in error or there's a fraudulent case, the government will actively retrieve the money by whatever means necessary at this point. This is in total contrast to the last one, where when they said it, it wasn't so set in stone. This time, it's written several places. So I'm just going to type any kind of number just to bring something in. So we've got, we've also a contact telephone number and a secondary number, because in the previous grant, we found out that some of the numbers didn't work for whatever reason. And so sometimes it's good to just put a secondary number just in case we need to get in contact with you. The email address is, the reason for this is because in the last grant, we had about 10 people who typed the wrong email address in. And of course, we couldn't get hold of them. It was a nightmare trying to get hold of it. And there's a couple who put the wrong telephone number as well. So we had to go around the houses just to get the details. So what you need to do is when you put the your email address in, please retype it and make sure. As a matter of fact, please double check everything. You can save as you go along. So you can see the save button down the bottom. So, okay, if you're a market trader, you click that, then you just say your pitch is in, say, North End Road, and just put NER for short. but please put the whole thing, and then you put your unit number, 34, whatever, and your correspondence address. Okay, and make sure you put the full address, including postcode. If you're not a market trader, then you put in your postcode, and then you should have this pop up, and you choose your address. If the address is not there, then of course, please put the entire address in here, just to make sure we get it all, okay? So organization name, MF Limited. Trading name could be the same, I suppose. But make sure it's all accurate. So this section is from the official SIC codes, and the government has asked for this time, so we had to put it in. So for instance, and yes, we've got education in there. So I'm going to just take that. Actually, that doesn't make sense. I'm going to just put nursery. So the reason why we've asked you to specify the sector is because we really want to know deep down exactly what it is, because this is a high level list, and then we really need to understand what your business is about. So if you can't put a single word, just put a couple of words, you know, financial tech, or, you know, or anything like that, and just let us know. And you must choose a business type. We listed all the main ones, so you could be a sole trader, limited company, etc. Choose limited company. And over the next 5 questions, if for whatever reason you don't have an answer for any of them, please put NA. The reason being is that we don't get enough information, so we need the information to run the checks and make sure the company is legit. So just put the number in here. You need tax reference, don't have one, but if you did, you put one in there. Charter reference, don't have one, put NA. VAT number, I don't know, whatever that is, and a website address. If you have one. If not, you can put NA. Then once again, the government's also asking for this information here. How many employees does your organization have? So this is related to the size of your company. So I'll choose 0 to 9. And the month and year you started trading. The reason why we're asking for this is we need to identify any companies that are actually new, so we don't prejudice your application. And it will explain itself a bit later. You can save this as you go along. Of course, you put an email address and it sends it to you. Okay, annual rent or mortgage. So this is in several bits. I'll just put 15,000. Do you pay business rates? Yes. It'll ask you for your business rates number. And if you know the rate of value, it'll ask for that as well. If you say no, it might ask if you know the rate of value. Some people do, some people don't. If you then you could choose. If not, if you say no, it just moves on. So there's several options here. Okay, is there any questions up to this point?
Yes, Michael, we have quite few, so I would just get on with this, and then I think we should go through the answers. Is that okay?
Yep. So then we get to this crisis effect. If you notice at the top, everything's laid out in simple terms. We break this down to make it easier for you, but also to make sure that we can properly assess your application. The last time it was a bit difficult, so this time we're giving you the opportunity to do it properly. So close by law is if the government said you had to close, so non-essential businesses. If you close for business reason, maybe because you didn't have enough trade and it wasn't viable for you to open. And if you're open but you had restrictive trading, yep, or you're just open. So you choose whichever one. And these 3 areas are very important. So tell us how your business was affected during the national lockdown. Okay, what we don't want is I had to close. That's no good. And I can see this coming through already, and some of the forms have been submitted. This is no good to us. This is where you justify your case. So even if you give us bullet points, it's fine. So stuff like closed due to government, just GVT, loss of earnings, 70%. This is, for example, or 34,000 last year. We did say just pull a figure there. 69, 68,995. All right. Sorry, I'm just using a little. I'm used to using a normal big keyboard, so this is a bit 76,555. Yeah. So we just need facts and figures. So literally speaking, you need to justify your case. So with some that much. So we need to understand what you're talking about. So you have 2,000 characters. Please use it. Okay, don't just give us a couple of sentences. Use as much as possible. You can tell us that cannot get supplies. Or your suppliers have closed, so you can't supply to them. Whatever. Give us all the reasons that you can possibly give us. Okay. And then this asks about how your business has been affected since March 2020. This is because we're trying to get a baseline of how COVID-19 affected you generally. If you weren't affected, then you can say, we had normal trade. If you are affected, then tell us, for instance, you March 2020, zero trade. I'll say March to June 2020, zero trade. The sort of thing. And you've given us no supplies or whatever, and just give us some good reasons. And then once again, how do you intend to spend this grant? And this, remember, you cannot use this grant to pay wages. So we need to understand how you spend have you noticed each area? So your rent, your utility bills, maybe your subscriptions to, say, office or whatever, your equipment costs, anything like that, your business rates, this kind of details that we need from you, how you're going to spend it. Just that's okay. Oh, let me just, and we'll move on until you get something in the screen. Right. This section here is that we need okay, if you're a new business, of course, you put 0. So please enter your total income for the period of April 2019 to March 2020. So we're just trying to get a baseline of how you're actually affected. This actually runs a calculator for us. And so it's important that you fill this because it'll tell us exactly how you're affected. So if you're affected by 90%, it will work it out. So if you did, I don't know, 108,000, now these are just plucking figures out of the air. And in April, you did 0 for 2020 because we had promised the grants then. I'll just say £8,000. June, I think that was still bad actually, £7,000. July was picking up, if I remember right. 1, 2, 3. Let's add the zeros at the end. August, depending on your industry, might go a bit slow, holiday time. September, 4. October, COVID started playing up again. So,
Michael, can I just interrupt? This is a turnover that you're talking about.
Yeah, just the turnover.
Yes.
So we're not talking, don't add any, if you have any loans or grants or you put your director's loan in or anything else like that, do not put that in. All we want is how much you actually made from your business. Nothing more, just the turnover. Okay, on November 0. Thanks, that's Snejana. Okay, and then you just click next. Okay, then this section asks us about everything else. So if you got a previous grant, so you might have got the small business support grant in, say, June for £10,000. And you just add that in. If you had any other funding, so let's say director's loan, £12,000. Yeah, and so forth and so on. You take a bounce back loan out. Say in July for 30,000. Most figures was about 50. And then you just, yeah, and you just keep going as necessary. Okie doke. Right. Then we get to the attachment section. So let's go through this one by one. So first one here is to provide proof of rent, mortgage statements, anything like that. Business rates, bills, utility bills, vehicle hire, equipment hire, anything. But you can only add up the 2 documents. The reason why is because the last time it caused a lot of problems with the server because we just had too many attachments. Well, I say to you, try and merge all your documents into one and then send them if possible. I think you got a 5 megabyte limit. Okay, so I don't know if I can get it from here. Let's pull my test file up. Okay, and for security reasons, we can only use PDFs and JPEG, JPE, PNG, TIFF files, etc. Okay, then documents to support income summary. So any kind of annual turnover summary. So end of year statements for April 2019 to March 2020. Bank summaries or bank statements. Okay, that's what we're looking for in this section. Once again, please do not send, all 12 months as individual documents. Send them as one document. It is, if you're on the other side of the coin, a lot of us are not from finance, so unless we see it continuously, it's very difficult for us to actually assess. Once again, you can just put your document in. Use that one. Upload the second one. As you can see, it's usually quite quick, depending on the side. So until you see those little bits go away, it may take a couple of minutes. Don't navigate away from it until it's uploaded. So once again, April 2019 to March 2020. Okay, so once again, we're just looking at the baseline and just a proof of it. Just remember, the reason why we're doing this because for some of the higher level grants, of course, that's going to pay up to say 10K, discretionary grant. Then, we need more evidence. But it's just better if you do put this evidence in anyway. Just help us make your case. If for whatever reason you cannot provide the evidence, for instance, you're a new business and you haven't got these documentation, or there's a problem with your browser, click that box and explain why. Okay, once again, we'll give you another chance. If you're having technical difficulties not loading, you can tick this box as well. Let's undo that. If you tick these boxes, overrides everything. So if you tried your best to upload as many documents as you can, and for whatever reason you just couldn't, then you could also just email us the additional documents. But you can upload as much as you can and just email the rest to business-support. But make sure in the address line you put your unique number, because each application will get a number. Okay. If we do have to ask you, we only give you a certain amount of time. I think it's up to 10 working days for additional evidence. If you finish your form, you have up to 4 working days to provide additional evidence, otherwise it won't be considered. We do suspect this is going to be a very popular grant, so the faster you send these in is the better. Okay, and then difference to last time, we're asking straight up for the bank account details that you need to send it money to. So if I go Lloyd's, you just enter your sort codes and bank account details, the account holder. Sometimes it's in your business name. But this, yeah, and then is this a business bank account? Yes, that's fine. If it's no, you need to justify how this bank account is connected to your business. So I know that some self-employed people just run the business from the personal account. Not convenient, but please just let us know this is the case, because there's sometimes auditors look at this and think it's fraudulent. So we just have to make sure. Okay, and then of course you upload your actual bank statement, possibly the latest one. And then that's it. And it's added. Okay, this point, sorry, I said no. Let's say yes. Then we get to the declaration section. Please read this carefully. We have a data protection notice. We will, I'll tell you now, we will carry out verification checks on every single application. Essentially, the way the grant was written, we kind of have to. Even the self-employed, they've given us software to double check. This application must be signed by the business owner, or if in any other case, the person with designated authority, for example, a director of a limited company. We will not accept applications signed by agents. Tick to confirm, put your name, position. Okay. And it says due to the number of documents, it could take up to 15 minutes, but then you have to submit. As soon as you click submit here, you will, and please make sure you press submit. I think I've missed something. Here we go. It's changed over. You get a reference number, and I just got an email on my business support help desk saying that we've done this. And that's a reference number you must quote in the subject line of your email if you have any queries at all or sending any additional evidence. And it gives you a snapshot of your form. Okay, everything's here. If this is okay, continue. And you can download this as a PDF. Once you continue, it will send this copy to you along with your attachments as well. And that's the form. So I'll start taking questions at this point.
Great. Can we just clarify from which email address will the reply come from, Michael? Is it business support?
Yes, it should do, yeah.
Should be business support, because that was one of the questions, to make sure
I'm trying to, actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. Let me just check. I'm sure some business support.
Okay.
I'm just gonna quickly check the business support mailbox.
Yes, just to check. Have you received?
Yeah. So additional restrictions grant. I think it's that one. Application form. Hang on, this is 1 moment. Yep. I don't know if you guys can see. I don't know if you can see anything, but yep, we've got this through.
Very good. You would need to put it onto your camera.
Yeah, it's business support. So it's come from business support desk, and it will say Hammersmith and Fulham Council.
Right.
No reply.
So make sure that it doesn't go into your junk box.
Yeah, there you go. It's copied to business support, but it says no reply at lbhf.gov.uk. But it will say Hammersmith and Fulham Council on it.
Okay, so it's no reply. That is the email that you would receive your application from. We will close the call. We will say thank you very much for your time. We know that it is tough. I myself, as I said, I run a small business, so I know, and I haven't really traded since September properly. So we know that it is very, very tough. Please do read and reread the links. I have shared the links where to go to at the Hammersmith and Fulham Council website. And if after all of the you still have questions, do get in touch. So thank you from my side. I will say thank you very much. I wish you all the best. We just have to keep on going. There is nothing else we can do. Don't despair. Yeah. This will pass, but it's just we have few more months of going through it. So
yeah, unbelievable. I mean, on behalf of the borough, I will say have a wonderful Christmas, everybody, and great New Year when it comes. And you know, I'm sure the grass will be green on the other side, and hopefully this will all go past us. But yeah, thank you all. But I'll tell you what I'll do. In the slides, I'll put the contact details for business rates in there as well for the local restriction support grant, just to be on the safe side. Okay, just to help out. Okay.
Great.
Thank you all.
All the best. Thank you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Have a good one.
Yeah, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.